Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. We'll begin by telling you that a strategic catchment management plan comprising of delineation of the entire northern Nigeria into 20 mega catchment areas has been launched by the federal government. The plan is believed will induce knowledge-based infrastructure and investments capable of restoring the livelihoods of people within watershed areas in rural communities through data and statistical evidence. Correspondent Charles Offa reports.
At the core of environmental issues is water, an essential element for food production and a means of daily survival for man, plants, and animals. While some communities are blessed with this natural resource, others are not so lucky. This means to restore enhanced farming activities and boost comparative advantage across communities, there is need to deliver 20 strategic catchment management plans across states in the north suffering from land degradation. This is why this signing of contract between the federal government through the Environment Ministry and a private firm to deliver data required for investment in watershed areas in the north is essential.
What we are witnessing today is one of the hallmarks of President Tinubu's administration's love for the restoration of nature and its attendant ecosystem.
What the World Bank investment speaks to the strategic catchment is define localities where watershed passes. Identify what are the major comparative advantage of what you should invest there.
Our study is not only be based on the technical, physical attributes of these catchments, but also the human attributes.
We know that the north is very, very important with respect to food production in Nigeria. So I would just urge all of us to continue to work very hard.
The agreement signing ceremony is pursuant to the realization of the World Bank's Agricultural projects. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Residents of the Federal Capital Territory, especially commuters, will soon breathe a sigh of relief as the Abuja Metro line is set for the commencement of commercial operations this month. This is the fallout of the last inspection of the train station by the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike. Onoze Yakubu has more.
It is cheering news for the residents of the Federal Capital Territory, especially commuters, who will have another opportunity of enjoying the eco-friendly transport system with the commencement of the commercial operation of the Abuja Light Rail. During the inspection tour of the facility, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and his team had a train ride from the metro down to the airport station to ascertain the level of readiness ahead of the scheduled inauguration by President Bola Tinubu.
I said that Mr. President said he was going to deliver, and then he gave marching orders to his foot soldiers, which we as ministers are, and we have no choice to make sure that the promise made by Mr. President, his Read Hope agenda, and Nigerians have come to see is a reality.
Nyesom Wike also inspected the access routes linking all the train stations, with most of them already completed. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
The Media and Publicity Subcommittee of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's first anniversary has released the first phase of the timetable for activities lined up to mark the event. The first anniversary schedule of events is expected to begin on Wednesday, 22nd May 2024, with a World Press Conference aimed at projecting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration's achievements and future plans. The conference will be held at the National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja, at 10 a.m. Following this is sectorial updates focusing on each ministry's specific achievements and goals. This will continue till Friday, 24th May 2024. All briefing activities will be held at the National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja. The International Day of the Boy Child is celebrated annually, an initiative of non-governmental organizations to highlight some of the challenges faced in the boy-child upbringing, as well as to give them a sense of belonging. The reports.
International Day of the Boy Child is celebrated every year. This day was established in 2012 to recognize and celebrate the rights and achievements of boys around the world with the aim of addressing boys' concerns.
Boys are both offenders, they are also victims in crimes.
The role of a boy child in the society is highly pivotal.
The founder of the foundation Great Achievers Initiative for Youth and Community Development, GAIYD, Mr. Hilary Akwa, gave the welcome address.
Because of my experience and because of what we are seeing in the internet and a lot of things, a lot of menace in the society, he said no, there should be a voice that should be talking about the male child.
The Nigerian Television Authority Director General, who was represented by the General Manager NTA Knowledge, commended the efforts of the organizers and expressed the need for the boy child to be educated, nurtured and encouraged.
We need to keep promoting and encouraging the boy child.
Last month, they have given me a special honor of 100 slots in Indian universities, scholarships from secondary school up to PhD, free of tuition. I would like to bankroll that honor to this organization.
For the essay competition, the representative of the participating schools were called out to speak on how the boy child can contribute to a better society.
If you empower the boy, you are empowering the society.
If a boy child can dissociate himself from these internet-based crimes, he has strongly contributed in making the society a better place to live.
Please support this NGO to begin to correct this problem in the society.
Prizes were presented to the winners of the essay competition.
Congratulations, Government Secondary School, Gwagwalada.
In the meantime, the Minister of Arts and Culture, Hannatu Musawa, has emphasized the need to appreciate and promote Nigeria's diverse cultural heritage to drive economic development, social well-being and national unity. She encourages Nigerians to take pride in their culture and see diversity as a strength, not a source of conflict. She announces the ministry's continued efforts to promote Nigeria's creative economy and boost its image in line with its 8-point plan to make Nigeria Africa's creative capital by 2030. World Culture Day, commemorated on May 21st every year, raises awareness on the role of culture in sustainable development. Minister Musawa calls on Nigerians to present their culture with pride and appreciate diversity as a source of strength and unity. As the world comes together to celebrate the vibrant tapestry of cultures on International World Culture Day, we are reminded that our diversity is our greatest strength. From the vibrant attire of the Yoruba people to the rich musical heritage of the Igbo and the rich cuisines of the North, Nigeria is a melting point of diverse cultures. In this report, Gufan Shaji Ugwani takes us on a journey to explore the beauty of Nigerian culture and the significance of this day.
Nigeria is a country with over 250 ethnic groups, each with its unique culture and traditions.
As a people with one song.
Today, we celebrate the diversity that makes us strong.
To build a people is to reorientate them appropriately in their cultural understanding and appreciation. To kill a people is to take their culture away from them, and they will need to revisit how to inculcate, incorporate, and imbue culture into our policy formulating processes as a country.
Cultural diversity is the strength of Nigeria, and it's also a day we're also creating awareness on the need for cultural dialogue, and as well to create awareness on the potentials of the Nigerian culture and the creative economy.
As we celebrate International World Cultural Day, we remember that culture is not just about tradition, it's about the future. It's about the next generation of Nigerians who will carry on our legacy.
People out there, they love our culture so much. So it is time for our parents, our leaders, our statesmen and each and every one of us to come together to tell our children and the young youth coming up more about culture.
Where there's hope for us all.
Food is the universal language of love, and today we feast on the flavors of our diversity, savoring the unity that makes us one. Music and dance are the rhythms of our soul, and today we let them move us to celebrate the beauty of Nigerian culture and the strength of our diversity. So, let's raise our flags high and our voices loud, celebrating the one Nigeria that we are, a nation of many cultures, but one people united in our diversity.
No matter your state, your tribe, your ethnic groups, wherever you are coming from, just know that we are one. We are unifying power with this name called Nigeria.
Happy International World Cultural Day, Nigeria. May our diversity forever be our strength. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji Ugwanyi, NTA News.
My country, Nigeria. We're not done with World Culture Day, as Adeola is joining us from Lagos Network Center for more and other stories trending from that zone. Hello, Adeola. It's a good day to celebrate culture and to see you again.
Yeah, Deji. Still talking Culture Day. Experts are advocating the need for every Nigerian to recognize and respect people's values, beliefs, and ways of life that are different from theirs. Adejoke Odeka reports that this is coming as the world marks Cultural Diversity and Dialogue Development Day.
Cultural diversity adds to the beauty of life, as it involves acknowledging people from different cultural backgrounds and creating an environment that recognizes the social behaviors of others. Celebrating the richness of various cultures across the globe to encourage unity in diversity is what the World Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development Day is highlighting.
You know, Yoruba, I love their foods. Amala is one of my favorite actually. My state, Delta State, Stash and Owo.
Lagos Island now, which they are very known to a your festival with Egungun and Gelede.
Experts say embracing diverse cultures in Nigeria would not only improve socio-economic values of the country, but also help boost development and tourism.
For instance, today is the World Culture Day. It is expected that we, celebrate one another's culture, appreciate all that is going on in the culture. The fact that I'm not a Yoruba person does not mean I should relegate to the background the culture that is being practiced by the Yoruba people.
Culture is a very big business right now. And I guess Nigeria is yet to really tap from the massive well of wealth that is in culture. Because you see, when a lot of people are looking at Nigeria and seeing a whole country that is culturally active, they will want to come.
Experts believe cultural awareness will help break down cultural barriers and build bridges. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
And two other reports to ensure compliance with procedures for export of National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control NAFDAC regulated products. The agency is embracing dialogue with concerned bodies through a workshop. Larry Bileyi reports that discussions between NAFDAC and stakeholders centered around the export clearance processes.
Rejection of exportation of products from Nigeria is creating concerns among key players. This is why the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, organized a workshop to sensitize stakeholders in the sector. Some of the issues raised include lack of enlightenment and unprofessional practices, especially at the medium and small scale levels, thereby causing the country great financial loss.
We, Nigerians, left this profiting endeavor
grossly unattended, leading to the unwelcome rejection of Nigerian exports in the international commerce with the attendant consequences.
For these stakeholders, export rejection should be fought head-on.
Exporters to have a change of heart, for them not to be involved in regulatory evasion. They should have a heart to comply with the requirements, with the needs of the regulatory bodies in the country.
One, the certification. Because certification gives products premium. Documentation too. Sometimes we have very good products, but when this documentation is not properly done, those goods will be rejected.
The consensus by concerned agencies at the workshop is that producers should ensure standard packaging, labeling, and avoid residues of contaminants such as aflatoxins, microbial, and pesticides. In Lagos, Lanre Bilayi, NTA News.
And we are done with a contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues in our Jos Network Center after this time out. Please stay with us.
You're welcome back. Our sincere apologies as we would not be connecting with our Jos Network Center at this moment. But Nationwide continues here in Abuja. Electricity supply in any community is vital to the survival and sustainability of day-to-day lives of the people. Correspondent Shola Wahid reports that Offa, an educational and industrial community in Kwara State, is not enjoying the basic critical social amenity with attendant consequences on economic activities of the people.
Kwara State, popular for its commerce and industry. For some time now, the town has been battling with power supply, the effect of which is already taking toll on the lives and businesses of residents in the town. With inconsistent electricity supply, artisans and business owners are coming down with losses in sales of their commodities.
Before they can be giving us work here, they will think twice because they believe that there's no electricity in Offa.
Residents of the community expressed concern that the transformers supplying Offa and its environs have become obsolete, weak, and cannot cope with the ever-increasing population and present-day expanse of the town.
We lost like 3 or 4 citizens of this town as a result of a wire snap. The size of the wire is just 35 mm for high tension instead of 150 mm. And we have been agitating through the IBDC that they should replace this wire, and up to now, nothing has been done.
Residents of the community took it upon themselves to procure a new feeder transformer.
We are appealing to the Senator and the honorable members of House of Assembly to assist us so that it will relieve the suffering of our people, because the artisans, most of them have turned to Okada because there's no light.
Offa deserve to have a separate business hub.
How will Offa be able to cope with a demand of maybe 2 megawatts for the whole town and its environment? They should increase their demand from Transmission Company of Nigeria.
Offa town is the second largest town in Kwara State, and residents pride themselves in regular payments of their electricity bills to IBEDC. Shola Wahid, NTA News.
We now go back to Offa, where Shola Wahid will now be joining us live to give us an update on the power situation in the town. Shola, this is not the best of time for people there, but what are the efforts on ground to address the problem and the restoration of power?
Oh.
Shaladia, all right. We seem to be having a little issue getting the reaction from Shola Wahid there in Offa on the power challenge, which seemed to be affecting residents. And of course, surely he should join us in the course of the bulletin to tell us efforts on ground to ensure power is restored to Offa. Now, let's still continue and talk more about power, because the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, again, assures the Northeast Governors Forum that it is doing everything possible to restore power supply to the northeast of the country by May 27 this year. TCN states that work is advancing to rebuild the 4 towers destroyed by vandals and energize the transmission line to ensure power supply is restored to all the affected areas. To expedite work, TCN says it insisted that the contractor put in place on-site machines that will help increase the fabrication processes of tower members as the construction of the 4 vandalized towers are nearing completion. TCN appeals for more patience from the people of the Northeast as efforts are on to meet the deadline of May 27. Benin Network Center is next on Nationwide. Another slight challenge there, but never mind. Well, engineers are working on restoring that so that we can have more of those contributions from the different centers. Still back here in Abuja, Senate has resolved to set up an ad hoc committee as a seeks sustainable solution to recurring farmer-herder clashes. Senate noted with sadness that these avoidable clashes have over time cost the nation huge losses of life and property. The resolution was sequel to a motion from Senator Issa Jibrin on latest attacks on communities in parts of Kogi State.
In Omalan government area have resulted in the killing of over 500 citizens, in addition to wanton destruction of public and private properties worth hundreds of millions of naira. Concerned that after much persuasion, the displaced person...
And of course, you've seen that the whole thing is actually a national menace, and everybody is very concerned across all divides in the country. So you can see the totality of the voices here are also the voices of Nigerians speaking that yes, indeed, enough is enough. We should find an end to these killings, find an end to the destruction. And there's somebody who was speaking, Senator Zam, and he also pointed out that even when the headers are moving from place to place, they are also being killed by communities. They also lose their lives. It shouldn't be so, because in the course of doing their legitimate business and they pass through a community, the community will feel that they've destroyed their crops, and in the course of it, they are also attacked.
Makers believe a national summit involving all stakeholders could bring forth ideas to put in place enabling legislation towards addressing the problem. With the federal government placing priority on transparency of the economy, auditors general across the country are strategizing for a better framework for a successful implementation of this policy. This is the focus of the 53rd Biannual Conference of Body of Federal and State Auditors General in Nigeria, ongoing in Oshogbo. Kayode Oladoshu reports.
For 3 days, the task at the biannual conference of the Auditors General in Nigeria will focus on sharing knowledge and ideas for innovation that will strengthen audit institutions. Declaring the conference open, the Auditor General of the Federation represented emphasized the renewed commitment of the body towards ensuring the prosperity of the nation's economy.
As accountability institution in Nigeria, the Office of the Auditor Generals are responsible for ensuring that government resources go to prioritized areas. Also, to ensure that the execution of projects and programs is transparent.
Osun State government recognized the critical role played by the auditors in the economy.
In Osun State, we are committed to providing the necessary resources and support to enable the Auditor General's office to function autonomously and with the highest level of professionalism.
In line with this topical issue, the community of auditors underscored the ultimate role of Supreme Audit Institution as an accountability measure at this time.
SAIS will provide advisory services to government by issuing recommendations based on independent and evidence-based audit.
There's no system that's risk-free. All of us are on to make sure we reduce whatever risk we are facing in our society. Most importantly, the issue of transparency accountability.
The theme of the conference is Supreme Audit Institution and Achievement of Government Priorities. In Oshogbo, Kayode Oladoshu, NTA News.
State governments have been urged to ensure judicious and accountable utilization of matching grants disbursed to them for implementation of universal basic education projects. Executive Secretary of Universal Basic Education Commission, Hamid Boboy, made the call at the opening of a training for accountants and auditors of the Universal Basic Education Commission, as well as those of the state's Universal Basic Education Boards. Boboy frowns at situations where state officials mount unnecessary pressure on financial officers, urging the officers in suburbs to resist pressure from any quarters to commit infractions and compromise standards.
That will sustain the organization. Otherwise, if everything goes, if the basic rules will have to be broken wherever there's an opportunity to do so, when, say, the procedures are not taken into account in what we do, we end up in a mess.
This training is the 8th series of the training, and it's stated as a result of the Directive of the Federal Government of Nigeria in 2010 for all the 3 tiers of government, that's federal, state, and local government, to adopt IPSAS cash basis.
Added that the purpose of the training is to familiarize participants with the newly reviewed accounting manual and provide comprehensive understanding of financial infractions and sanctions, noting such was crucial to ensuring successful service delivery in basic education. Religious and traditional rulers within the West African sub-region advancing advocacy against gender-based violence within the region. Elizabeth Omorui reports that this was at a high-level gender-based violence summit by the United Nations Women and Ford Foundation, where the Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi, recommended protection of the rights of women and girls by families and governments, as well as full inclusion in policy making.
Data by the United Nations reveal that about 1 in 3 women worldwide have experienced sexual and other forms of violence and are more likely to be killed by their intimate partners. As a pervasive global menace, Africa is not letting her guard down, and this forum seeks to leverage regional mechanisms to tackle gender-based violence being experienced by women and girls.
Genital mutilation, it's a very, very dehumanizing thing, but thank God Almighty, the advocacy is getting wider.
We are ready to give our best to the country, nothing more. We are ready to always talk about peace and stability based on justice and fair play and equity.
Let us stand in solidarity with survivors, advocate for their rights.
Harmful cultural practices, conflicts and poverty, they say hamper the progress of women.
The work I do is to protect the rights and save my women and children as much as I can.
Gender-based violence is not just against our women and girls. It's against all of us. It's against our economic growth. It's against our stability.
Together, we can achieve our shared vision of a world free from violence, bias, prejudice, and discrimination.
They recommend a coordinated synergy with law enforcement agencies to arrest and prosecute offenders, and the commitment of governments at all levels to end the scourge. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Now we'll reestablish contact with Shola Wahid in Ilorin. Of course, is set to give us an update on the power situation in Offa. Now, Shola, this surely would be a cause of concern, but tell us, what are the policies and the moves on ground to ensure that power is restored to Offa?
Very much, Ayodeji. I am presently in Offa, in Kwara State. Now, the situation is very... there is erratic power supply in Offa. Some people have not experienced light for the past 5 days, 10 days, a week, and they are asking that things should be done in order for them to earn a livelihood. Here that I am, through community effort, this feeder transformer has been installed by the community in order to at least reduce the load on the major power supply that are the feeder supply that is here in Offa, a 63-year-old transformer, which is old, which is obsolete and weak, and hence cannot serve the purpose of electricity supply in Offa town. Now, here in Offa, we have so many industries, at least about 12. We have high institutions, we have commercial ventures that people rely on for self-livelihood. Now, the situation now is there is no electricity supply as we are speaking. And the people are agitated a bit that ever since they have been clamoring, they have been at least seeking help all over IBDC for light to be restored in Offa. Up to this present moment, there is erratic power supply.
So thank you for giving us an update on the current power situation. And of course, we expect to have an update as soon as relief comes the way of the people there. Thank you once again, Shola. Back here in Abuja, a journey of about a year old is now being assessed by critical thinkers and professionals of great repute on the platter of the renewed hope ideology. And this perhaps has nothing to do with party inclination, rather a true reflection of the falling wall whose resurrection comes at the verge of collapse. And the forum of APC professionals is at the front burner. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
These are professionals on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, spread across diverse disciplines of both the public and the organized private sector, with deep knowledge, ideas, and vast experience on ways to initiate conversation on Tinubu economics, which has now become a new civilization in driving the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu's presidency. In the struggle for survival, every second should count, and for the length of time, the result will be on the scale for experts to dissect. Now the long wait is over, and these professionals on the platform of the APC are dotting the I's and crossing the T's after a painstaking job.
The results of our interventions are promising, and we are proud of the progress made in strengthening the Naira. As leaders, we must shoulder the responsibility of our decisions. We must be guided by data and clear vision for our nation. This is why we also appeal for patience and collective effort from all Nigerians as we work towards a future of safety, prosperity, and optimism that serves all.
Energy reforms, revenue drives, enhanced agricultural production, and upscaling performance of the non-oil sector dominate discourse, while fuel subsidy removal was justified.
The quantum of money in circulation, there was a lot of printing. We got to know printing of money, which didn't make sense to professionals like us. And of course, even the debt sustainability ratio of the nation.
In the next few days, the Students' Loan Fund will become operational, and Nigerian youth will now have easier access to higher education, irrespective of tribe, religion, or geographical location or godfather.
The overall assessment anchored on policy roundtable on the Asiwaju scorecard series is gathering momentum for stakeholders to make adjustments in the pursuit for economic prosperity and social harmony of the country. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. More reports ahead after this break. You're welcome back from that break. We now go over to our Kaduna Network Center where Mohammed is standing by. Over to you, Mohammed. Over to you, Mohammed.
Thank you for joining us in Kaduna. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, says the successes being recorded in the fight against insurgency in the country by the Nigerian Armed Forces is as a result of the support being received under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The Chief of Naval Staff stated this in a message at the Nigerian Military School NMS Zaria ex-boys reunion event here in Kaduna. Haruna Muhammad reports.
With the slogan, "One for all for one," the ex-boys across Nigeria converged on Kaduna to celebrate their alma mater, the Nigerian Military School Zaria, marking its platinum jubilee. In a route march through the streets of Kaduna, including serving and retired military officers and soldiers, they marched remembering the good old days and the regimentation instilled in them by the college.
The route march marking the Nigerian Military School at 70 comprises of both members of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the FRSC, the police, and other sister security agencies.
NMS inculcated in us the sense of belonging, the sense of loyalty, the sense of hard work, and the sense of nationality.
Now a football competition and also a reunion, but here representing their various states of origin, a symbol of unity in diversity, with a tapestry of touches reminiscing the good old days from boys to men. Showers of encomium couldn't cut short on how the college has invested in them, and in a surprise package came some retired and serving generals, including the special guest of honor, the Chief of Naval Staff, represented, who is also an ex-boy of the college.
Junior and senior ex-boys, we have had opportunity to sit down together, to talk to each other, and to support each other.
It's a platform for uniting the youths of this country. In the military profession, the whole country is our constituency.
The school has done so much for national development.
NMS established in the year 1954. Their wishes is to continue to stand tall as one of the pride colleges in Nigeria. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
The federal government is all ongoing road projects in Jigawa State. The Federal Controller of Works Jigawa State Engineer Yusuf Labahani stated this during an inspection visit to some roads in Jigawa State. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
Now we have to disconnect from Kaduna due to that slight challenge. But it happens once in a while. Let's tell you that Nigerians can expect a more professional private security guards industry in the coming months as the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, moves to reform the sector. Victor Azu was at the stakeholders' engagement with the minister and now reports.
The stakeholders' consultative meeting on the Nigeria private security guards industry, convened by the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, flanked by heads of agencies in the Ministry of Interior. The minister is meeting with private security practitioners in an effort to standardize the industry and ensure safety of Nigerians.
We think there should be domestic license, there should be industrial license, and there should be a combo license, depending on the capacity of the companies in terms of technical know-how, in terms of their capital, and in terms of their reach, national spread. And of course, ensure that once somebody comes in as a guard, we have his biometrics, we have his data. In case if there's any issue, we can track you and make sure that justice catches up with you.
Tunji-Ojo's work is already half done. He has the buy-in of licensed practitioners who are already looking to play a bigger role in the national security architecture.
This is an industry that employs over 5 million Nigerians in both formal and informal sector. And if our services are optimized, standardized, I believe it will greatly help in reducing the burden on the status.
An 8-member committee headed by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Dr. Aishatun Dayako, has now been set up to aggregate recommendations leading to a policy that will further strengthen the private security industry. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
And next is sports updates.
The resolve to improve sport for national unity and socio-economic growth is receiving attention as the National Council of Sports kicks off in Enugu. The permanent secretary describes sport as not just a game, but a major industry with the capacity to generate employment, drive economic development, and improve public health.
Area of experts gathered here in this hall, we shall surely come up with policies that will serve as guide for better and improved decision-making in the sports sector.
In powerlifting, the first edition of Nigeria Powerlifting Federation NPF NPC Open Championship has ended in Lagos with emphasis on discovering more talent at the grassroots. Powerlifters across the country converge on Lagos to compete in different weight categories, including squatting, bench press, and deadlift. Eze Ebuka clinched gold in the 105 kg weight after a total lift of 625 kg in the male event. Emmanuel Tuesday also smiled home with gold in the 74 kg class with a total lift of 557 kg. Islamiyat Yusuf won gold in the 76 kg class with a total of 401 kg lift in the female event, among other winners.
It is Nigerian powerlifters are needed globally to compete, whereas the strength of powerlifting lies with the black man.
Whenever we have any competition at their classes, we will be using them to go and represent this great country.
In boxing, the hunt for slot continues for Team Nigeria on the road to Paris Olympic second World Qualification Tournament scheduled for 24th of May in Thailand. A team of 5 boxers are already in the host country to fight for the remaining 51 slots across 13 weight categories. With Sports Update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
And that is nationwide. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm Ayodeji Makinde on behalf of the entire production crew. This is the Nigerian Television Authority. Good evening.